This year was game, set and match to soccer when the South African government decided to rather fund the hosting of the African Nations Soccer Championship instead of the Soweto Open Tennis Tournament. But top Israeli tennis coach Ronen Moralli nevertheless visited South Africa recently. Soweto, not really known for tennis. But rain or shine, these youngsters from the Arthur Ashe Tennis Academy hardly ever miss a tennis lesson. And lately they also had the opportunity to learn from an internationally reputed coach employed by one of the largest tennis development programs for children in the world.
The first thing I put emphasis on making the kids disciplined, because in my opinion being disciplined it's like the first stage. And the second element is the physical element, the footwork element, to get them going, to get them be light on their feet.
Coach Moralli's visit to Soweto resulted from talks between Tennis South Africa and Israeli authorities.
The Israel Tennis Center in Israel was built by immigrants from South Africa. And so there's a natural connection of the people who built the Israel tennis centers all over Israel to this country.
With more than 50,000 registered participants, amongst whom some world-class players, tennis can be considered a well-known sport in South Africa. The sport is working hard to develop new talent and shed the image of being reserved for the privileged and whites.
These kids are coming from poor families, so we're trying to get people who can help. But the bigger picture also is to take the kids away from the streets. So we're not developing only a tennis player here, we're developing a fully fledged human being. And if we can get it right between ourselves and the Israel Tennis Federation, then we'll be able to produce more kids that can play at the highest level.
And it seems that Coach Moralli did make an impact in the approximately 2 weeks he spent in South Africa.
It makes me like I'm also famous, and it makes me feel like maybe when I go to tournaments there'll be things that I'll remember about him.
Number one that he really impressed me, it's discipline on and off court, and really building kids not only for tennis, for the rest of their lives.
The best thing that Coach Moralli told me is to move my legs and do happy feet.
The next plan is for the coaches from Soweto to go off to Israel and to spend a couple of weeks at the tennis center in Ramat Sharon in Israel. And then we're talking about exchanges of top players. That if we can get the top teen players from Israel to practice, to train together with the South African players, either here in Soweto or in Israel, I don't know, maybe we can find the next Serena Williams or Shachar Peer.
And being a former Davis Cup national coach, Coach Moralli, of course, has advice handy.
The best advice is 100% effort, coaches and players, 100% enjoyment in what they do, 100% positivity in what they do, and 100% focus on specific goals. And by doing those 4 things, you will develop the talent.
Tennis may not be the most obvious connection between Israel and South Africa, but it does seem to offer a lot of potential for cooperation. I'm Marisa de Klerk in Soweto for JN1.